Hi guys, welcome to the channel. Basically, don't expect a review for a while because I have just started reading this guy and, well, as you can see, thoroughly enjoying it, but I'm about 200 pages in and it took me about a week and there's 700 pages, so I could be a while on this one, but it's worth it. I'm thoroughly enjoying it so far, as I knew I would. Anyway, so instead of doing a review, today I thought I would do a book haul, but I have quite a lot to get through, so I'm just gonna jump on in and start, because there's a lot of them. So we'll start with the first bag, and half these I don't remember what I bought. It's really bad. So the first one we have is 2 AM at the Cats Pajamas by Helena Bertino. I picked this up at like a second-hand bookshop. If you go to my vlogging channel, which I will link in the description, there's actually a vlog about me walking around the shop with my sister and just the whole day out we had, and it was very, very nice. However, back to the book. So yeah, I picked this up for, I don't even know how much, I think it was like a couple of £2 at the second-hand bookshop. And first of all, I was intrigued just because I thought the cover was really, really pretty. I'm a sucker for a book cover, and so I am, like, I will judge a book on its cover, and if I think the cover's pretty, I will pick it up, basically. However, the description on the back says, it's the night before Christmas Eve, and sassy, smart-mouthed Madeline, not quite 10, has one goal: to sing on stage at Philadelphia's legendary jazz club, the Cats Pajamas. Meanwhile, Madeline's 5th grade teacher hopes to rekindle an old love, and club owner Jack Garcia fights to keep his beloved haunt from closing. At 2 AM, these three lost souls find themselves in the Cats Pajamas. It's going to be an extraordinary night. So yeah, I was really intrigued to read this. I like stories normally that have like 3 different characters or 3 different point of views running through it. I think that's what's going to happen, but I don't really know anything else about this book. However, I just thought it'd be a nice read. I probably won't read this till Christmas time, as it's a Christmassy type book and it should get me in the mood. But yes, thoroughly looking forward to reading that one. Right, so the next book I got was The Facades by Eric Lundgren. Again, I picked this up in the second-hand bookshop. I just love the cover. Again, I just like the minimalistic, like, sort of view and the negatives it's presented in. I think it's really pretty and really intriguing. And then at the back, the blurb says, The Facades is one of the most remarkable and talked about debut novels in recent memory. Set in the once great Midwestern city of Trude, a treacherous maze of convoluted shopping malls, barricaded libraries and elitist assisted living homes, The Facades follows a disconsolate legal clerk named Sven Noberg, who sets out to investigate his wife's disappearance. Written with boundless intelligence and razor-sharp wit, The Facades is a comic and existential mystery that unfolds at the urgent pace of a thriller. So basically, it sounds like it's going to be a comedic thriller, which I can't see how you can go wrong. I like a good laugh, I like a good thriller, so I picked it up because I thought it was going to be good. Again, most of the books I'm showing were really cheap and second hand, so couldn't resist. I can't resist a good book. The last one from this bag, in an additional bag. Wow, I really went bags this time. This one, I've still got the price on this one. This is The Cook by Wayne Maculey. Again, from, as you can tell by packaging, from one of the second-hand bookshops I went to, or one of the glow-down bookshops. I don't think this one's actually second-hand, but it was cheap, so I picked it up, basically. And this one, the blurb reads, How a Young Man Made the Cut. At 17, Zach is given a choice either to go to a Young Offenders Institute or enroll in a rehabilitation scheme, a course that teaches juveniles how to cook. He makes his choice, he chooses to cook. He also chooses to succeed, whatever the cost. I like young adult books that follow sort of teens, so I thought that would be quite interesting. I also love cooking, I love food, I'm a massive foodie. And so I was quite intrigued by this and just what it had to offer. And I also thought the juvenile thing would be a nice sort of twist on the whole thing. The cover kind of intrigued me with the little splatters of blood. I just thought that was really cool. And yeah, no, it just really intrigued me, and it was less than a £5, so again, I couldn't resist. I have no resistance when it comes to books, as you can probably tell by how many I've got. This is like a week's worth of book shopping. I'm not this bad normally, I promise. Or, okay, I am a little bit, but anyway. Right, the next one I got, again, second-hand bookshop, was Checkmate by Malorie Blackman. I am not going to read the back in case it gives any spoilers, both to people watching this and to me, because I haven't actually read Noughts and Crosses or Knife's Edge. I own both of them. However, I thought I would complete the trilogy because I like to just have the complete sets of books if I can, and I thought this was cheap, it was second hand. Everyone raves about the trilogy, saying it's really good, and so I thought when I do get around to reading it, at least now I have the full set, so I can read them consecutively if I want, or I haven't got to wait for the next one, which kind of really irritates me. I have no patience when it comes to books, I just want to dive straight in. So yeah, that's that one. God, it's never ending. The next one I got was The Girl in 6E. Again, I picked this up, well, first of all because it really stood out on the shelf, like the really bright, vibrant red, so automatically I was drawn to it and picked it out. And then I looked at the cover, and that really intrigued me, and then it just this year's most shocking thriller, and I really enjoy thrillers, so I thought definitely a good choice to pick up. Goodbye. The blurb on this is Denna Madden, aka Jessica Riley, hasn't touched another person in 3 years. Oh, Riley, and it's not my way as well. Isn't that fun? Anyway, Denna Madden, aka Jessica Riley, hasn't touched another person in 3 years. She hasn't stepped outside her apartment. She makes money from performing to webcams on a sex site. She's doing alright, the dollars are piling up in the bank, and she hasn't killed anyone for years. But when Denna sees on the news that a little girl called Annie has gone missing, the story rattles her carefully ordered world. It's uncomfortably similar to the dark fantasy of one of her most disturbing online clients. She's convinced he's responsible for the girl's abduction, but no one will listen to her. So after 3 years, Denna finally leaves apartment 6E, and this is what happens. Everything about this intrigued me. Even that it's time to meet the killer next door intrigued me. I love thrillers. And then the fact also that it seems like it's quite an odd setup. I don't think I've ever seen a book about a murdering sex worker who doesn't leaves her home and then goes out to solve a mystery. So don't know if I haven't seen it for a reason, but was intrigued to read this, and again it was cheap, so I had to buy it because I buy books. You see the pattern here. The next one I bought was Pride and Prejudice, I can't pronounce, by Jane Austen. Just want to check then. Most people know about this book. I will read the blurb in a minute anyway. But basically, I don't really like classics. I've said that before. So I've kind of been always sort of dubious to pick any sort of classic up. However, in one of my more recent videos, a friend suggested that I should read this and then watch the film adaptation, because I have a problem with adaptations. I'll link that video as well below if you want to check that out. So I thought that maybe I should give it a go finally, especially as I enjoyed The Little Princess. So maybe my view on classics is changing. But in case anyone does not know what this book's about, which I'll be surprised about, but in case you don't, I'll read the blurb anyway. So, vanity, not love, has been my folly. When Elizabeth Bennet first meets eligible bachelor Fitzwilliam Darcy, she thinks him arrogant and conceited, while he struggles to remain indifferent to her good looks and lively mind. When she later discovers that Darcy has involved himself in the troubled relationship between his friend Bingley and her beloved sister Jane, she's determined to dislike him more than ever. In the sparkling comedy of manners that follows, Jane Austen shows the folly of judging by first impressions and superbly evokes the friendship, gossip and snobberies of provincial middle-class life. Yeah, I don't know where I'm going to stand on this. You will find out as soon as I read it. I'll do a review. But I'm dubious because I don't think I am going to enjoy it, but I'm going to give it a go anyway and try to go in with as much of an open mind as possible. But mainly I'm reading this so I can get round to watching the film, because the film's something I've wanted to watch for a while. But I try to read books before watching the films if I can. So that's why I picked this one up. Then I have Dracula, which again, kind of just another classic, but I just feel like it's one I should read. Especially as I've read quite a lot of vampire books, and this is the ultimate vampire book, isn't it? So, and again, it was really cheap, and so I just kind of had to. No, I am again sort of interested to see my take on this. I just think, I feel like it's a book I should read because I've read so many books in this kind of genre about vampires and things like that, especially when I was a lot younger. And so I thought I'd finally give Dracula a go as I'm a little bit older and can appreciate it. So there you go. I think I've only got 2 more, if I'm correct. It shouldn't be much longer. Yay! Right, the next book I got was Half Wild by Sally Green, which is the next book in the trilogy. I think it's going to be a trilogy. Don't quote me on it, but I think it is. Of Half Bad, the book that I read recently and did a review of. Again, I will post the link in the description in case you want to watch that. Again, I'm not going to read the back of this book because I don't want to spoil anything for anyone who is going to read half bad. However, I will just give you a brief idea. It's kind of a new witch trilogy where the world is split into good witches and bad witches, white witches and black witches, and Nathan, the protagonist, is sort of a half-blood. So he's half black witch, half white witch. And this will pick up from where the last book left off, I assume. But I'm very much looking forward to reading this because I did actually really enjoy the first one. Even though I didn't think it was like particularly amazing, it was a really nice read, and so I'm looking forward to reading something. This would be nice when I'm like after a while, because after the Game of Thrones books, things will be quite heavy. So I'll probably want to break for a bit and read some sort of lighter stuff and more easygoing stuff. And this is probably something I'll pick up because it's quite easygoing. At least the first one was. Don't know about the second one. And the last book I picked up, because I'm reading the first Game of Thrones book, I gave in and I bought the second one because basically I wanted to hold off buying the whole set because I was worried that despite the fact that I love the TV show and oh my god, the start of that series 5 was so good, anyone who doesn't watch Game of Thrones should watch it, it's just amazing. But yeah, so I loved the TV show and sort of started getting into the beginning of, well, the end of last year, and so I thought I'd give the first book a go, but didn't want to buy the whole set because I was worried if I didn't like the first book because it was too heavy or complicated, then there's no point me owning them all. However, within the first chapter of the first book, I was in love with it. I love George R.R. Martin's writing within it as well, and judging by my reaction to the TV series, I also love the story and where it's going, so I couldn't help but pick up A Clash of Kings, which is the second book in A Song of Ice and Fire series. Most people think it's actually called The Game of Thrones, which I didn't know this until I picked up the book, so actually Game of Thrones is just the first book and the whole series is called A Song of Ice and Fire. I didn't know that either, or you might have known that, but I had no clue. But yes, I'm really looking forward to getting into this. I'm saying I might take a break after the first Game of Thrones book because it's quite heavy, but there's a possibility I'll just jump straight into this because I'm enjoying the first one so much. However, it's not going to be as much of a cliffhanger for me because I am obviously up to date pretty much with the series. I've watched episode 1, series 5. So I kind of know where the story's going, so there's going to be no cliffhangers for me, but despite that, I'm still really loving the series, or so far. So if you're someone who is like watching the TV series and then fancies going back and reading the books, I personally still think it's worth it. I think they're really good. But yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So, yay! That is the end of my book haul. I have bought a lot of books. See if I can get them off of you. All these ones. It was, yay, yeah, so I'm going to have a lot of reading to do, despite the fact that when I sorted out my books the other day, I realised I have like 163 that I haven't read yet, so now that's gone up a little bit more. I'm going to put these down because it's really heavy. Anyway, I hope everyone's having a nice time and reading loads and things like that. Just a quick disclaimer about this channel, it's now just going to be film reviews, book reviews mainly, and then I'm going to try to upload twice a week, once for books, once for films. If I don't have something to review, I will try to do something more like this. So something book themed on the day I should be uploading a book review, or film themed on the day I should be uploading a film review. If you want to subscribe and like or write anything in the comments, feel free. If you have any book recommendations, always leave in the comments because I will pretty much read anything. Or anything to say about any of the books I've read. Again, feel free to comment below. Yeah, I hope everyone is doing well and I will see you soon.